Hello, hello, Babeliciouses. Welcome to Babes on the Brink, where we're giving you all the cutting edge analysis of the Traitors. Today, we are covering the Traitors India, Season 1, Episodes 7 to 9. I am the most faithful of faithful, Annabel. And joining me, she's in my voting bank. It's Traitors New Zealand Season 2, Jane Massey. Jane, how are you?
Hi, Annabel. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yes, I was a traitor, but I'm going to use a Pulver's words this week. I was a bitch, but I wasn't a backstabbing bitch.
God, bang on. I am so obsessed with Apurva.
So am I. So am I still. I get every episode, I get more and more obsessed. She's just brilliant, isn't she? Still,
She's
still just
so
giving
good.
it. So, yeah, yeah. I really hope she makes the finale.
Oh, I really hope she makes the finale, but I don't have high hopes. Let's just do some
Mm.
admin here at the start. So,
Yeah.
full spoilers for every season of English speaking Traitors that has come out to date. Uh, Spoilers for everything that's happened in Traitors India. Potentially spoilers for some other stuff as well, who knows? But we'll do our best to limit it. Um, Also, good news. Traitors India has been renewed for a season 2, Jane.
Yeah, I saw that. That's brilliant. I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't know how many views it's got in India, but I mean, it's for the first series, it's been brilliant, hasn't it? It's brought all the drama, everything that we all love to watch. So, yeah, really pleased it's going to be for a second series. It'll be interesting to see whether they follow the USA and they have celebs again, or whether they just go for normal, in inverted commas, people. But yeah, really pleased. Definitely look forward to that.
Yeah, it's been a huge hit. I'll talk a little bit about its reception from the perspective of my Indian colleagues. Then, other little updates. We'd like to give a shout out to someone on Spotify whose username is just an entire string of letters and numbers. They said, I'm loving this podcast so much. Thanks, Annabelle and Jane. Your commentary and analysis are awesome, entertaining, and spot on. Laughed out loud a few times. Thank you, string of letters and numbers.
No, they don't say accurate or interesting. Just
Awesome and entertaining.
entertaining. Entertaining, yeah. Yeah.
That's what's important. And then we got a comment on YouTube from Luz Debu, who commented, no episodes 1 to 3, sad face. No, we didn't have episodes 1 to 3 on YouTube because I had not washed my hair that day and also just couldn't be asked. But all we have done full coverage of Traitors India today in podcast format. So this episode will also be on YouTube, but episodes 1 to 3 just on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get your podcasts. So let's talk a little bit about the digging I've done on the reception. So I was begging my colleagues based in India to watch. I'm like, what's going on? I need to get the background info. And they were like, as if I would watch that show. It's trash. It's drama. I think it's because Karan Johar, the host, has a reputation for kind of doing like feminine, trashy TV shows like Secret Lives of Bollywood Wives. So I'm
Okay.
sensing maybe that this is something that they view as not highbrow or maybe a little bit feminine, whatever. We're loving it. However, one of my former colleagues, who is an icon and a sassy queen, he let me know that absolutely loving it, was totally shared our opinions as well. Sufi, Apurva, goddesses, screw Urfi, agreed that Purava's a little bit of a creepy vibes. And
Yeah.
apparently, the reason that people aren't really keen on Janvi is that she comes across as a bit old-fashioned.
Okay. Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, she was there was a younger cast anyway, so it's harder, I guess, for her to be more relevant with them. But yeah, maybe so. Maybe a bit old fashioned. Maybe a bit too straight laced for it. So yeah,
Wasn't fitting in.
not dislikable though. Just kind of
No.
meh.
And then on Reddit, there's been a bit of backlash against Apurva for all of her swearing, but I think that's just people on the internet being angry about things that happen.
Yeah, and there's always going to be those, but nothing anyone can say will make me dislike Apurva. She is the queen to me.
I am obsessed with her. She is a standout character, as is Sufi. All right,
Yeah.
so overall, what were your feelings about this week's drop of episodes?
I thought it took a while to get going. We'll talk about predictions. We must talk about predictions actually in the last one because I got one right, so we need to talk about that. But the missions were different, which were good. And I think episode 9 really massively brought the drama. The Circle of Shack was just insane, wasn't it? So I kind of had a little bit of a dip in the middle, and then at the end, I was almost screaming at the TV. It was just chaos. So yeah, it's still bringing the drama, which is absolutely what we like. I've been disappointed with the people that have been murdered. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I still love it. I still think it's up there with one of my favorite seasons. What about you?
Yeah, agreed. It was a little dull in the middle. But overall, really enjoying Traitors India. I thought that this week's drop was a crime against Pride Month.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yes.
first of all, we have these arrogant douchebag men up in Traitors Tower. We lose Sufi. Apoorva is like an inch away from Banishment herself. This is not what we deserve.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, hadn't thought of it that way, but you're right. I mean, oh, pause. You're going to talk about it anyway, about the whole how Sophie's not here any longer, and how he's taken it. But yeah, really sad about that. He was so great to watch, just so great, and him and Apoorva together were brilliant to watch. I kind of guess that went along with my dip, is that he wasn't there, and he always brings the drama, which I absolutely loved. So really sad. Oh, it's really sad to see him go.
We love you, Sufi.
Mm,
Yes, okay, let's get to our predictions from last week because I
yeah.
actually felt like our predictions were pretty good. So give us a recap, Jane. What did we say?
We said who was going to get murdered. I said Janvi. I don't think you said Janvi though. You said one of the others. So
Probably
I'm feeling very,
Sudanshu.
yeah, I'm feeling very
No, I said it
righteous
was
because
Janvi because I'd actually seen that as a spoiler. They
well,
spoiled that it
that's
was
right.
Janvi who
Yes,
died.
you
Yeah.
had, and I hadn't, and I guessed, but I guessed right. But actually, I said Hurab was going to go, and you said Elnaz, so you were correct on that one. So
And
yeah,
then I said that without Elnaz around, Anshula would end up getting murdered because there was no one to protect her anymore. She didn't end up getting murdered, but she did get banished.
yeah, weird, weird that the dynamics for her getting weird, and the whole, as we're talking about the whole, if you could think back to when Elnaz went and Purav had 3 votes, I think there was quite a lot of suspicion on him, and then suddenly they did this whole traitors thing where they're all forgotten about the next day, and then Angela ended up going, which with no real reasoning again. Just again, as we've said before, it's the drama. It keeps getting, or the things that are happening, like Parav's secret mission. People aren't noticing it because they're so tied up in their own, their own games of blaming each other and the drama. I mean, it's great to watch, but it's not very good for getting the traitors out, is it? Felt bad for Angela, but she took it well.
I think it's pretty standard for the faithful to have the memory of goldfish. But would you say that with this season more so than other seasons, it's ultra cliquey?
Big time. Yeah, absolutely. There's like 3 different cliques. And like you say, we started off on day 1 with the whole
Kapoor
clan
crew.
called the Kapoor
Yeah, the
crew, which didn't
Kapoor crew.
last. Yeah, and now we're starting having ones are developing with the Apoorva and Purav now together. I mean, the thing about, I love Apoorva. The one thing I don't feel for her is that she has got this insane trust in Purav, and she will not even consider his name, which is really frustrating. Yeah, they are very cliquey. It does remind me a bit of, I think, when the celebrity versions are on, same with the USA, I think it becomes like that. And I think when you have just normal people who don't know each other or know anything of each other, it's less likely to happen. So you could it just ends up having 2 different versions of the traitors, which is great.
Yeah. There's at this point it's basically Orphe's crew and then people who
Yeah.
aren't in Orphe's crew.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not united.
Awfully.
Don't get me wrong. There is
Oh God.
no united force there.
No, absolutely not. No. So I think we need to talk about how stupid Jasmine is coming across.
Oh my gosh.
She's doing my head in. Just like, really? She's 35, isn't she?
Jasmine
I'm
gives
sure
me
she's
flashbacks to my season. There is no talking sense to Jasmine.
no,
You cannot
none.
You can give
You
her
must
a
recognise
full,
it.
detailed explanation, exactly stepping out why what she believes is incorrect, and
Yeah.
it can't penetrate through all that hair.
No, it can't. No. No, exactly, absolutely, and you're right. And several times we had a big conversation with Apurva talking to her, making complete sense. And again, yeah, she just walks off and says, it's as though the conversation never happened. She just won't take anything in. It's so frustrating. It reminds me of other people, a couple of people in my series as well. And it's frustrating to watch. But yeah, it's she'll probably last to the end because she's no threat, is she?
Yeah.
We're going to
All
see
right.
it
Well,
again.
thoughts on that when we get to predictions. So
Yep.
we
Yep.
kick off episode 7 with breakfast, and Elnaz and Purav, our traders, come in first. Purav is so sketchy. He's refusing to strategize with her here. Purav is never giving reassuring vibes to anyone, I don't think, Jane.
No, never. I think he said, "Oh, I don't even trust the walls." I mean, I know what he's saying because I had one occasion where I went in with Mike and we were together. But yeah, I mean, just have a chat with Elnaz for God's sake. But he's sketchy all over the place. He was always gonna throw Elnaz at some point, either with or without the help of others. So not surprising. But she did the right thing. She just wanted to discuss it. But no, no, he's
He's bad at
sketchy.
reassurance. Like, who needs
Very.
enemies when you've got friends like Purav?
Mm, no reassurance whatsoever. And the same we'll see later with Harsh.
Literally.
Mm.
Oh my God. Anyway, he needs to work on that. So, anyway, people are coming in. We never miss a good opportunity for a bitch fest about Janvi. You know, every single morning we manifest Janvi's death. It gets
Yeah.
ultra personal. And Orphe, meanwhile, is also having a mentee bee about the prospect of Harsh being murdered. She's so obsessed with him, and it feels quite one-sided, Jane. I
Definitely.
almost felt bad for her over this series of eps.
I didn't. No, I didn't feel, but I wouldn't go that far. But it is definitely one side. He makes that comment later, doesn't he? Which she gets upset about, and I think rightly so. It's definitely one sided. He doesn't give a damn about her, does he? But again, it's just blinding her whole strategy in the game because, yeah, she can't. Well, we'll talk about it later, and we'll see what happens next episode. But yeah, I don't feel sorry for her then.
I really don't like her. Like, as I said, probably one of my least liked Traitors contestants I've ever watched. But even then, I still felt sorry for her because I feel like Harsh is being such a fuckboy.
Yeah, yeah, it's that unrequited love, bless her. Well, she says she doesn't, but I mean, yeah, it's 100% one-sided. Yeah.
Anyway, Janvi's dead. Yay. They all celebrate. They're delighted.
Yeah.
They no longer have to be there with her. Poor Janvi did nothing wrong.
No, and Janvi saw the cards, didn't she?
Yeah.
She said
Yeah.
about Purav, but she didn't do anything wrong. No, like you say, I just think she was a bit like a fish out of water, didn't really have involvement in any of the cliques, wasn't really a humorous person or outgoing, and I think it was just maybe bad casting on for her. She wasn't really the right person. Maybe because she's an astrologer, it could have gone better. But no, nice lady. So good luck to her.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers, Janvi. So post breakfast, dummy, dumb Jasmine and Janet, they're really sus on Orphe here. They're like, why are we still here? Orphe must be a traitor. They're also a bit sus on Elnaz, but mostly Orphe. But the Orphe clique, they come together and they're going to be gunning for Elnaz today.
Yep.
If we remember, she's besties with Anshula, who tells Elnaz her entire belief in humanity will be shattered if Elnaz turns out to be a traitor. And Elnaz is going to work buttering up Sudanshu. Sudanshu falls for it hook, line, and sinker. He loves that this very attractive model is talking to him. And sort of she floats Purav's name to him. And he's all about that. He's like, yep, Purav.
Mm. Yeah.
And so Sudanshu goes to work. He's like, no, it's not Elnaz. Elnaz isn't the traitor. Apurva's like, no, I'm sorry, Sudanshu. Elnaz is a traitor. But Orphe, she kind of sucks too. We could go for Orphe.
Yeah. Sudanshu was. I thought he was going to go with that. To be fair, he seemed very sure on Purav. But again, Sudanshu's a bit of a nah. Don't really see a lot of him. He doesn't have a lot of airtime, does he? He doesn't seem to be. He's certainly not leading the way in accusations or anything, is he? He's happy to sit in the background a bit.
He is. Sudhanshu is your classic, we don't see this person for the entire season, and then they're just one of the faithfuls who are there and win in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And like, respect to Sudhanshu, he does vote for traitors. Like in the first 2 episodes, he votes for a traitor each time. He fluffs that up in episode 9 here, but he votes for Purav and Harsh, I believe, in episode 7, isn't it? Oh no, Elnaz and Harsh.
No, yeah. Yeah, he does. I just think he's not one to bring forward theories, but then with all the screeching and drama, it's probably can't get a bloody word in edgeways. But
Really liked this mission. So in this mission, everyone's randomly paired off with someone left out. Nikita, classic. Barely there, Nikita. She's left out of the mission. And so in this mission, they face each other and they take one step at a time. And on each step, they have the option to drop a bag and claim whatever is on the step. So it starts off with, you can add 2 lakhs to the pot. Okay, if no one picks that, you go to the next step. You can claim 10 lakhs for yourself. If no one claims that, the first person to drop can get a shield. And if no one claims that, then at the end, you'll add 5 lakhs to the pot. And I really liked it because it's all about, how much do you trust your partner not to take something for themselves? They will take something for themselves, most likely, but how soon do you drop? What do you care about the most? How long can you risk it for before they make that move, Jane?
Yeah, I liked it as well, and it was a good one. We'd never seen anything like that before. Not in the ones I've seen, unless it's been on foreign-speaking ones. But yeah, I thought it was good, and there were some good decisions made, and obviously some drama out of it. But it was, and I think Purav did himself some good here, even though he came with some heat afterwards. So we'll go through it. But yeah, I like that Elnaz took the money. I love that. I think she knew she was going, so why not?
Why not? I thought Janet and Apurva played it best, and Purav did the best of it for a traitor. So the first pair is Sufi and Jasmine. Sufi, terrible move, immediately tells Jasmine he's taking the money for himself. But fortunately, it's with dummy dumb Jasmine. So like the right move here for Jasmine is like, okay, he's taking the 10 lakhs for himself. Therefore, I do the safe thing and drop on the first step, claiming the small amount of money for the group. But she's a moron, so she doesn't, and he does end up taking the money exactly like he told her he was going to. And she's mad.
Yeah. But also, just go, if that was me, I was thinking at the time, if it's me, say yes, get to the 10, and then drop it first, immediately. And then he doesn't get it anyway, and she gets it. I mean, like you say, duh. Yeah, stupid. Stupid, but glad that Sufi got some money.
If there is a bad decision to be made, Jasmine will make it. Like, this woman is not smart. Sudhanshu is super boring. Purav is trying to groom Sudhanshu as well to be his number, but, like, Sudhanshu's already horny for Elnaz. They end up banking the largest amount of money for the team. Love that for them. Meanwhile, Janet begs Apurva to let her have the shield, which Apurva does let her have, but tells Janet to tell everybody else that it was actually Apurva who took the shield. And I love my gamer queen. This was completely the correct move. Like, if you were going to do this, you both get to the shield point. One of you actually gets it. You say the other person did it. They all should have done this, except for obviously
100%.
Elnaz, who doesn't need one.
Yeah, 100%. Great move again. Purva bluffing the shield again. And again, that just shows that she's smart and intelligent. Is reading the game and thinking ahead. It was really smart of her to do that. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily work, but very good. That was a good move to do. So her and Janat, for all intentions, both had the shield.
Yeah, amazing. Meanwhile, Harsh and Shula agree they're both going to go for the money. They don't think either of them are likely to make it to the end. So it's just going to be whoever drops the bag first, and Shula gets it. And then Elnaz and Orphe, they're the last pair. Elnaz is saying she's going to go for the shield. They agree they're both going to go for the shield. And Elnaz, she's sneaky. She takes the money first. before they can even
Love
get to the
that.
shield step. And Orphe is absolutely furious.
She's absolutely mad, isn't she? It's brilliant. I love that. I love that for Elnaz. I was willing her to do that, and I was so happy that she did. So again, she gets the money and pisses off Orphe. So it's a win-win, isn't it? Oh, and of course,
Yeah.
Orphe's going to go off her face at that because that's what she does, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a win for the audience. Elnaz in this stoked the Orphe beast,
Mm.
who is just, oh, she's a yapper. Like, Orphe does not, she's constantly screeching. She's got this super
Mm.
annoying high-pitched voice. And I know it's rich for me to say someone has an annoying voice, but she is so annoying.
Yeah, no, she is, and that's right. She's like a yapping dog. She's like at your feet all the time. Get away, get away. She does not shut up, does she? And most of what she says makes no sense. It just blurs the water for everybody. So yeah, when she lost that, that was the highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah, loved it from Elnaz. So post-mission, Apurva and Janet fake this fight where, oh my god, Apurva, I can't believe you took the shield. Everyone, Apurva took the shield and I'm so mad about it. These two are so cute together.
Yeah,
Apurva's cute with
no.
everyone.
Yeah, yeah, she is. That was good. That was funny because people were just talking around them, and then, but again, good thinking to do it. So Jeanette was all up for that, and absolutely the best thing to do. Good on them.
Yeah. Elnaz is begging Purav to stop Orphe from rallying votes for her, but Purav is continuing to be sketchy and like, ugh. And the reason why I'm criticizing his sketchy and unreassuring behavior here is because if any of these traitors were half sensible, they would just throw him under the bus instead.
Yeah, I know, but they've obviously got Elnaz. I mean, I think she would have done had she been pushed to it, but because I don't think she was particularly keen on him being a traitor with her. But yeah, she didn't. And he had no qualms of doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it's his age, and so people just don't think he's a traitor because he's young and a bit sort of. I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, you're right. They should have done.
He gives the traitors absolutely no reason to believe he's on their side. He basically tells them, yeah, I'm going to vote for you. I'm putting your name out. And they still keep hoping he'll stick with them. Like, at this point, you have evidence. You know he's a traitor. So you can give compelling evidence as to why he's a traitor. Turn on Purav.
Yeah, and Elnaz should have done probably, but I think as well maybe because she didn't have the numbers as well in the clique, and he's obviously very popular, and he's got some unblinded faith in him from other people but she should have given it a shot at least. Why not? But I mean, saying that, I didn't in my series. I should have done. And I didn't. It's really different when you're in there, and maybe she just didn't feel able to do it, or she wasn't going to get numbers. But it would have been interesting if she had, and we could have had a completely different outcome.
Yeah, it's less Elnaz I'm mad at this point for not doing it. It's more Harsh later on. Harsh should have completely flipped on Purav, and he had the numbers to do it.
100%. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
So Sufi, he's promising Orphe he's going to vote for Elnaz, but he's telling the not Orphe group, I think Orphe is a traitor, but she's got way too many friends. Everybody here is friends with Orphe. We're not going to have the votes. But in fairness, like, Orphe's friends are really flaky.
They are, and they're scared of her.
Yeah. They're scared of her, and they think she's a traitor.
Yeah.
But Orphe's still fighting with Elnaz. The anti-Orphe, pro-Elnaz crew in Sufjan and Shula are thinking, maybe we'll vote for Orphe. And it gets back to Elnaz that Purav is planning on voting for her. So it's all drama in the lead up to this circle of shark. And this Harsh opens the circle of shark. No one planted Elnaz's name in his mind. It was totally his own decision. Nothing to do with Orphe going around bullying people. Yeah, says Orphe. Oh, you're so bossy, Orphe, says Elnaz. And Orphe's like, well, you have your little bitch Sudhanshu. And Shula, we're all scared of you, Orphe. You're aggressive and unpredictable. And Orphe's like, I like Harsh. I think he's sexy, and I'm desperate, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Jasmine's like, Elnaz, it's just like super weird that you can speak Hindi all of a sudden. Like, you've been pretending you don't speak Hindi for the last 7 days, and now all of a sudden you're putting together a coherent defense. I know some words. I don't know the entire dictionary. And Sudanshu's like, look, guys, she has a language barrier. Leave her alone. It's not her fault. She's really, really, really hot. Elnaz starts crying and hot. And Jasmine jumps in to reassure her. Oh my God, Elnaz, don't cry. I also suspect my best friend, Orphe. Honestly, Orphe, you're such a traitor. Like, forget Elnaz. Orphe is protecting us. She's the reason why I'm still here. I actually hate you. I would never protect you. I only care about Haas. And then Shula points out only a traitor would be more fussed about adding to the pot than actually saving themselves. Correct read. But points the finger at Sudanshu rather than Purav. Okay, Purav. Can you give two names at this stage? We're 7 episodes in. You've never been able to give us a name. Or is it just still too early for you? And he's like, look, it's still too early for me. Elnaz, it sounds like we all suspect Elnaz. Angela's saying Sudanshu. I guess oh, for God's sake, says Hart. It's really weird. You try really hard in missions. No one is hustling harder in missions. And then when it comes to playing the actual game, totally checked out. You're not even playing this at all. Where I was like, yeah, but I'm okay. Maybe Elnaz is like, Purav, you don't even talk to me. You're scared of me because I'm hot and you're 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
So the votes come in. Nikita still thinks Anshula is a traitor, unlike anybody else. Elnaz votes for Orphe, but the rest of the anti-Orphe crew in Sufi, Anshula, Sudanshu, they vote for Purav. Purav, for some reason, votes for Sufi, which was super weird. And then the whole Orphe crew in Jasmine, Janet, Harsh, Purav, and Orphe, they all vote out Elnaz. And I'm just thinking here, like, if the anti-Orphe crew had actually brought in Nikita instead of hating her and formed a block together, you could have got rid of Orphe, who you hate at this point. I know it was good, they got a traitor, blah, 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 but, like, this team, the anti-Orphe crew, cannot get it together, Jane.
No, they can't. Like you say, they're flaky, they're scared of her, they're intimidated by her. And I think that they can't think for themselves. If you look at someone like Jasmine, for instance, she can't think for herself, or she can't articulate it. So, yeah, they could have done. Nikita hasn't always been right, but she's kind of just on her own, isn't she? So nobody's bringing her in. Purav's vote was ridiculous. Why vote for Sufi? That would have raised alarm bells for me, to be honest. But again, that
was a Purav. Yeah, Purav's best friend is Sufi. Why did she vote for him?
Yeah, weird. But yeah, they could have got her out, but they're just not strong enough to do it. And I don't think they can think that she kind of holds them together in a ridiculous type of way. And so they can't. I think they either can't cope without her, or they think she's a traitor, and she's keeping them there.
Yeah,
which we've seen many times.
This is how much I hate Orphe at this point, that I'm razzing them for not getting rid of Orphe and Innocent, rather than celebrating the fact that they got rid of Elnaz, a traitor. Like, please put us out of our misery. Get rid of Orphe.
Yeah. I know we should be hoping they get a traitor. I know, but yeah, I'd be quite happy if she had gone. But that's the way it went.
I'll tell you who is over the moon that Elnaz is eliminated here. Sahil. I need to go and see Sahil's reaction to this.
Oh, well, he will be, because he's still feeling bitter, is he, from the very right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. It's only a game. I can't believe they're taking it so seriously, all of them. But yeah.
They wanted screen time. So everyone's super stoked. Yay, we got a traitor. Harsh is slapping his chest. Purav is panicking slightly because, he got some votes. And we find out the traitors are not meeting in the tower tonight. Instead, there's an open bar. And I'm like, but they have to meet in the tower tonight because they've got to recruit. So this felt like misleading information to me.
Yeah, so he then got his mission.
Yes. So it's post-Circle of Shock. Everyone gets dressed up for a fancy dinner. It's time to get sloppy. There's dancing. But people are paranoid about a murder in plain sight, and correctly so, because yes, it is a murder in plain sight. Yeah. So Purav has got to go and find a book in the billiards room. Hidden in the book is some poison. He then has to pour the poison into the outdoor fountain, then pick a player's photo from the dinner table and throw it into the fountain. Porav is not happy about this because our wimpy king Porav does not like having to work.
Yeah, he's a baby. Yeah. I knew he'd be a baby about it. I knew he would be. In fact, I was surprised he even did it. It would have been interesting to see if he hadn't done it. But yeah, he wasn't happy about it. But it was. I quite liked how they did this because again, it was different to other things that have been done in the past. You know, the murder in plain sight. I quite enjoyed watching him. You know, be wandering around trying to be less obvious. I think he was so obvious if people had been paying attention, but they're not because they're all worried about who's drinking what and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Porav is giving parent money. Like, you can't tell me this man has ever had a real job in his life. He went straight from sponging off mom and dad to making YouTube videos. Because you ask Porav to do literally anything. Name a name at the Circle of Shark. Perform a murder. And he's like, oh, but it's so hard. I don't want to do stuff. Ugh. So he's going to murder Apurva, Orphe, or Sufi because they asked too many questions. So Orphe and Harsh, they're like all over each other in the corner. Apurva and Sufi are just getting completely blotto. Like, Apurva is drunk and stumbling around. Her and Sufi are like, I love you. No, I love you.
Yeah.
And while Purav is sneaking around in the billiards room trying to find this book, the drunk pair of Apurva and Sufi come in. And so he starts pretending to play pool by himself, ends up finding the poison while looking for chalk.
Yeah.
He's also pretending to be drunk. So Purav is kind of just like stumbling around like he's wasted.
Yeah.
So funny. Slings
Yeah.
the entire bottle of poison into the fountain. He doesn't pour it in, it's just like,
No. Yeah. He's
I've seen
made
it.
and it made a massive splash noise, and there were people there. I was like, how did they not hear that? But yeah, that's what he did. So it was funny.
Everyone starts filtering out to go home for the night. It's just drunk Apurva Sufi and fake drunk Purav. And Purava's like, oh, Purav, you're looking so handsome tonight.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I know.
Purava, you
He
are
takes his
so
jacket
hot.
off. Yeah.
You're so hot. Increase your standards.
Yes, absolutely. Go for a man, not a boy.
So while Apurva and Sufi are literally right there, he grabs a portrait off the table, flings that into the fountain. But fortunately, they're both too drunk to even realize.
Yeah, but also he flung it from what looked like quite a long way away. I thought, oh my God, it's going to miss. I kind of thought, oh my God, this would be so funny if it missed and just smashed on the floor. That would have been, I would have loved that. I was wishing that, but it didn't happen, obviously. But yeah, another huge splash, but they didn't notice.
I feel like with his whole drunk, maybe his idea was that if someone caught him, he could just pretend he was so wasted that he was just throwing portraits everywhere and he could have just started grabbing them and flinging them around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would have been good thinking. I'm not sure that was his thinking, but but luckily for him, it did go in the water. But yeah, it was brilliant to watch. I really enjoyed that part. I loved it.
This was a really fun episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So then we move into episode 8, and this is going to open with Traitors Tower because it's blackmail time. Purav has to blackmail somebody to join his little circle of deception. He wants someone smart. He wants the person he's been thinking of recruiting this entire time, and Elnaz was saying no. It's his bestie, Harsh. And Harsh sees it's Purav. He is absolutely gagged. He's like, but Purav, he's like 4'8". How could he be a traitor?
And he's still a baby. Yeah, I know. He was genuinely shocked, I think, wasn't he?
He was.
I think that was genuine. Yeah.
But they're bros,
What
so
do you
they're
think?
super excited. They're super excited to play together. I was not about this, Jane. I'm like,
No.
ew, it's Pride Month. Why do we have these gross little dickhead straight men in here who hate women?
So what did you think? Who would you have picked, and why did you think Harsh was a bad idea? Because I agree.
No,
I
this
think
was
he
the
was a bad
correct
idea.
decision for Purav. This was the
Right.
correct decision for Porav. It's his best friend. It's someone he can trust not to turn on him, and someone who's going to attract more suspicion than him. But
Mm,
I just hated it as a viewer.
mm. Yeah, I
What about you?
thought yeah, I wasn't I knew he'd pick Harsh, obviously, I think that was a given, but I'm not sure whether it was the best idea, but then I guess we've seen what happens after that, but I don't know whether maybe he could have gone for I would have liked to have seen him go for Apurva. I really would have liked that because she's got suspicion on her. She's always going to have suspicion on her at this point because of how she is. But maybe they could have worked together better. I just think Harsh is weak and he's shown to be weak, and I don't think he was ever going to be. But if his thinking is Harsh is my friend, but actually I'll get rid of him if I need to, then I guess for him it is a good pick.
I think he can trust Harsh more. But also, can you
Mm.
imagine if he'd recruited Apurva and she had to come up
Yes.
to Traitors Tower wasted still?
Oh, yes, but it would have been brilliant. I just want to see more of her, so that would have been hilarious if she'd come staggered in. Not just say, yeah, I'll join you, yay. But
Yeah.
yeah, sadly not. You're so handsome.
Harsh, no, look, I've already murdered someone. It's cool. Let's go to bed. We get to breakfast. Orphe and Harsh come in first. Harsh keeps telling us, the audience, he has played brilliantly, flawlessly even, as an innocent. So he's going to totally nail this. And they're like, should we be listening to Nikita's instincts? Like, maybe we just bully Anshula today. But also Apurva. Don't forget we hate Apurva. Apurva comes in looking hungover. Sudhanshu is looking a little bit tragic today in this, what do you call him, bandana over his
Oh,
head.
yeah. Yeah. Not a good
And
look.
as everybody arrives to breakfast, Harsh and Purav are super confused. They're like, I thought we killed someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Well, I was confused as well as it happened, but no.
Karan
But yeah.
Johar comes in and he reveals someone has been poisoned. Slowly. And Sufi hates poison. Girl, same. And Apurva's like, oh shit. Sufi, Purav, and I were wasted last night. We were touching everyone. We were drinking everyone's drinks. We were eating out of everyone's hands. It's definitely one of the three of us.
Hmm. Yeah. Helped Purav that a lot.
It did, because Purav after breakfast is going to be like, oh my god, it's me. I'm dead. I drank from Sudhanshu's glass.
Mm.
And Puff's like, no, but the three of us, we spent the whole night together. So, Purav, unless Sufi's the traitor, the three of us are safe. We were only with each other. Purav is like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Purav, she's looking at Harsh and Orphe. He's like, why? Okay, what about Orphe? Why isn't Orphe dead? And Apurva, this is what I love about her. Like, she does connect the dots here. She's like, Orphe is such a critical link here. She is the only thing connecting Janet and Jasmine to Purav and Harsh. So that is correct. Orphe should be gone. Her mistake is thinking that it is therefore either Orphe or Harsh who are the traitors. Because
Yeah.
anyone in that five has a direct incentive to keep Orphe there.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. And that's where they're not thinking ahead and they're not thinking strategically. There's a lot of emotions clouded here. And, we know that as well, and friendships form. But you're absolutely right. If they thought about it, then they'd realise that she isn't probably a traitor. But sadly, that never happens, is it? And it's not going to happen.
No. So we get to the mission, which is where we're going to find out who has been poisoned, who is going to die. They're in these ruins. Karan Johar is wearing these incredibly ugly sunglasses that look like they've had stabbed out cigarettes sort of glued onto them.
Yeah, I wrote that on my notes. Yeah, dreadful. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, they weren't good. Yeah.
So bad. Anyway, it's this weird, creepy mission where unsafe people, which they determine, whatever, have to walk through a crowd of wailing robed figures, and if they're grabbed, they're on the short list. So Orphe, Sufi, Apurva, they are grabbed. One of them has been poisoned, and they are put up on these platforms. The rest of the group have to decide, who they think was poisoned, and correct guesses earn money for the pot. So the correct guesses were Janet, Jasmine, Anshula, Nikita, and Harth. They all think Sufi's dead. The other two vote for Apurva. Absolutely no one thinks Orphe has been poisoned, and yet Orphe is in the game. And oh my god, Sufi is dead. It's a crime. Apurva's
Oh.
crying. I'm crying, Jane. I miss him so
Oh,
much already.
yeah. So do I. He just dropped as well, didn't he? That whole drop thing and the scream, it was so dramatic. And I knew it wouldn't be Orphe. I knew it wouldn't be, but I was just hoping. And of course, we're left with Apurva and Sufi, my two favourites. I didn't want either of them to go, but oh yeah, I really felt for him. I do miss it. I miss his handbags. I miss his little quips and his funniness and his campness. It's just, yeah, crying shame. That's another reason not to like Purav, I'm afraid. He got rid of our
It's the
Sufi.
list. So
He got rid of our Sufi.
before I even got a chance to watch these episodes, I am a Sufi stan. So I am following Sufi on Instagram, and I'm also in his Instagram channel where Sufi screams into the void. Endless posting, endless causing drama, and let me tell you, Sufi not happy about being murdered. He was so nice to Purav. Purav just threw his picture in there like it was nothing. Sufi really, really, really wanted to make the finale and wear his custom suit, and Sufi was robbed. And yes, we are all jumping on the We Have Hate Purav train. We're with you.
Yeah, we are. And at the end of the day, Sufi, I mean, he said in the last episode, didn't he? I can't remember what he said. He just wanted it to be something that he could do for himself. And I guess, I mean, Purav's made that decision for whatever reason, and it is just a game. But I still think, yeah, Sufi had so much to give. Come on.
Think Team TV, okay? Murder someone boring.
Yeah, Purav, you go and keep Sufi.
I'm
not on his Instagram channel. I follow him on Instagram, but I'll have a look at his channel because he does put a lot on Instagram. I'll give you that. Every time I click on him, there's so many things. But he's 21,
every time I check
isn't he?
my phone, there's another 6 notifications from the Sufi channel where he's been void screaming again.
Brilliant. Love him.
It's great.
Love him even more.
Something that amused me, Nikita comforting Apurva. She's like, "Oh, don't cry, Apurva. We're all losing our friends." Girl, you have no friends.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know, but nice words. I'm sure they came from a good place. But yes, it's not really the same for her, is it? Oh, Apurva was really upset, wasn't she?
Yeah. So post-mission, Harsh is very worried. He thinks people are coming for him tonight. Purav is worried for Harsh as well. And now Orphe has decided since breakfast that she's looking at Anshula, which is amusing because Nikita, the only person who's been saying Anshula for the last several episodes, no longer thinks it's Anshula. And the fact that Orphe is saying Anshula is highly suspicious. Now Nikita's looking at Orphe, and we go into the circle of shock. Apurva opens on Anshula. She's like, "Why were you hustling more votes? You did more work to protect Elnaz, who was a traitor, than your own aunt." And everyone is just like piling on Anshula. It's the We Hate Anshula show. I also love that they refer to alliances as vote banks. Side note.
Yeah, vote banks. Yeah, I know, vote banks. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you're right with that. With Nikita, I was going to say Nikita had completely changed her tack on that one. But Apurva, I mean, the question. Okay, you can ask the question, and I guess you can use that against her. She voted for her aunt, didn't she? At the end of the day, but they're still missing all these pieces that are, if they thought sensibly, they'd realise that there's no way that she's a traitor. But yeah.
No.
Carry on.
Anyway, Nikita, this is where 3 days later, Nikita now confesses. Oh, guys, probably should have told you this, but they actually tried to recruit me 3 episodes ago. So that means there were only 2 traitors left at that point, and therefore there has to have been a recruitment last night after the Elnaz banishment. I knew there was a recruitment. I was looking to see whose behavior changed. It was Orphe. Orphe's changed the most. She thinks it's Anshula now, and she's super influential. Orphe pops off at this.
Yeah.
angry mouse screaming and finger pointing at Anshula. But dumb Jasmine, Apurva, I don't understand why you keep pretending to have a shield. It's really confusing. Like, why would you pretend to have a shield when you don't? To protect yourself from murder? That just, like, makes no sense to me. And Apurva's like, I literally can't with you, bitch. Harsh, you're a traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
And Harsh is like, me? I could never be influenced by Orphe. Orphe isn't my woman, and I would never be influenced by a woman like her.
Oh, mic drop. Wow, what a thing to say.
Brutal. Say what you really think, Harsh. Don't hold
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And Apurva's like, look, I can't win this game anyway. None of you trust me. I'm just going to say what I think. It's Harsh. So the votes come in. Nikita votes for Orphe. Sudhanshu, who's accidentally voting for a lot of traitors these days, and Anshula vote for Harsh. Jasmine votes for Apurva, and then we get Harsh, Apurva, Purav, Orphe, and Janet, who all vote for Anshula. Okay, whoops. Another innocent gone. The anti-Orphe alliance is getting really slim, and then dummy dumb Jasmine has the audacity to try and lecture people for getting rid of her innocent post.
I know.
Post reveal.
Unbelievable.
Also noting at this point, there are only 3 men left, and 2 of them are traitors. I'm like, they really cannot afford to murder or banish any more men. Like, Sudhanshu is safe until really, I think, episode 9 at this point.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. There is only 3. Yeah, I didn't even consider that, but you're right. And at the end of the day, we see it afterwards where we're talking about Puva is that Apurva, is just completely blinded by her friendship with him. So, you know, it's really Harsh is the one that's on the chopping line here, isn't it? Chopping board, sorry. Sorry,
Well,
my dog's
at
being
this
super
stage,
annoying.
so Orphe and Nikki have a little bicker post-circle. And Janet, this was a unusual stroke of genius from Janet, this confessional. Janet says, I didn't think Anshula was a traitor. I think it's Harsh. But I intentionally didn't want to banish a traitor tonight because then they would have a chance to blackmail and recruit another. If we banish Harsh tomorrow instead, they won't have a chance to recruit before going into the finale. We will outnumber them in the finale. We will have a better shot at winning. I thought, genius.
Good thinking. Great. Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. That was really good thinking. And if she's thinking like that, that's absolutely how an innocent, as they say, should be thinking with that. So sadly, she didn't get the chance. But yeah, she did well with that.
Totally convinced Harsh is a traitor.
Yeah.
She's like, look, Jasmine, you cannot, if I go out here, Harsh, stay focused on Harsh. Jasmine is kind of talking to Orphe. She's like, you need to stop being blind to Harsh. What he just said to you at that round table was super disrespectful. And Orphe's like, oh my God, he doesn't respect me. He thinks I'm an idiot. He's using me. She's ignoring Harsh. She feels humiliated. But this will last all of one evening, Jane. By tomorrow, she's back to riding him like a pony.
Yeah. Exactly. And Jasmine Jasmine as well. I mean, who's she to say anything? I mean, she hasn't got a clue, has she? But yeah, she didn't. That was never going to last. She's always going to be in Harsh's corner, always. So there was a bit of hope there.
Traitors Tower, we're back to Harsh feeling insecure. Harsh loves feeling insecure and then telling Purav it's all Purav's fault. Oh, you blackmailed me at a really bad time. Oh, because he gets to choose when he gets to pick a traitor at blackmail time. Like, be grateful you've been given the opportunity. So they're like, okay, who can we get rid of at this point? Who is targeting? There's Apurva, there's Janet, maybe Sudhanshu. Harsh is like, well, would you even consider getting rid of Apurva? You're really close with her now. And Purav is like, yeah, of course I'd get rid of Purav. Is that who you want to get rid of? Anyway, they end. Purav promises, I'm going to flip the vote onto Orphe. You're totally safe, bro. We've totally got this. The next day, we have breakfast. I thought Apurva was dead at this point. I thought there was no hope for her here, Jane.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't think that. I actually thought they'd go with Sudanshu. I thought they'd keep Apurva because of how vocal she is and how she could easily be a traitor. So I think they made the right decision not to go for her, actually. I thought they'd go for Angela, but obviously not Angela. Sudanshu.
Sudanshu.
Yeah, Sudanshu. That's who I thought they'd go for, yeah.
I think they made the correct decision. I think they made a brilliant decision here. They need to keep in Sudanshu because they can't be the last two men left.
Yeah.
Apurva, yeah, nobody likes her. Nobody trusts her. They end up murdering Janet, who is a confirmed faithful and really well connected and quite intelligent. I was worried actually because I watched episode 8 and went to bed, and I'm stewing in bed thinking about it. I'm like, it is not good news for the traitors that Janet and Jasmine are still in the game at this point, because they are both, nobody thinks that they are traitors. Absolutely everyone is happy to end the game with them. Their names never come up in that respect. So I'm really glad they got rid of at least one of them.
Yeah, and
the
I think
smarter one.
knowing what we know now and how she was thinking ahead, that was I don't think they knew that, but that was a smart move for them to get rid of her. Jasmine would have been why get rid of her when she's not coming up with anything? So yeah, it was a smart move, and I think I'm sad to see her go. It would be nice to see whether she'd be able to follow through with her thinking. But yeah, so she's gone, and you're right. There's only 3 guys. I didn't think about that at the time, but had Sudanshu gone, it would just been the 2 of them. Yeah. So no, good move. Good move.
So down at breakfast today, Orphe, she's very worried it's going to be her today, but she's at this stage still thinking Harsh is a traitor. And right, Jasmine reveals to the group after we find out Janet is dead. Everyone's devastated because everyone loves Janet, which is exactly why it was a good decision to murder her. And Jasmine reveals that Janet had been saying she intentionally didn't axe a traitor last night. She wanted to do it tonight, so that there'd be a man down. And now, except the problem is, Jasmine's like, oh, we've got to avenge Janet. We've got to go for Harsh. Except I actually think the traitor is Orphe. She's just a moron, Jane. She's just a moron.
So stupid. I know, she's so dense, isn't she? She just, I don't know what's going on in that brain, all that airhead of hers. But yeah, she should have just said, means to vote for Harsh, stop. Don't say anything else. But because that's what Janet said, and it was the right thing. If I go tonight, it's Harsh. Okay. So yeah. Oh, she's so frustrating to watch. So frustrating.
Oh my god! And Apurva is like, Purav, so it's either Orphe or Harsh. It's definitely one of the two. And he's like, maybe both. She's like, no, unfortunately it's just one of them.
Yeah.
So at this stage, they all know, as a group, there are definitely 2 traitors left. They're fairly sure one of them is Harsh. You would think this would be setting the innocent up for success for today, but unfortunately, they're incredibly divided, and they're not the brightest sparks, Jane.
No, exactly. And I still don't understand. At this point, I was thinking, almost shouting at the TV, why is nobody considering Purav? Why? I just don't. I mean, I can understand Purva is, Bezzy's and best friend and love you forever and blinded, but the rest of them, his name just doesn't come up. Still.
Orphe does bring it up later. She says it's either Purav or Harsh. This is after the mission. If I'm murdered, Purav is the traitor because Harsh would never do that. If I stay, it's Harsh. Unfortunately, babes, it's actually both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And when she said, oh, Harsh would never do that, I'm like, yeah, right, okay.
No, Harsh would relish the opportunity.
Harsh would definitely do that. Yeah, exactly.
Harsh will never speak to you again once this show is over.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy not to do so.
Literally. So she confronts Harsh after breakfast about his rude comment last night. Harsh is not remotely apologetic. In fact, he kind of tries to turn it around on her. But this seems to be enough for her because after this, she goes back to simping.
I know, I wrote that down. He didn't say sorry or anything, but oh God, yeah. Almost felt for her a little bit there, yeah.
Then we have our other toxic showmance, Apurva and Purav. It's clear they're really, really tight, and he's pretending to doubt her. He's just absolutely racked with guilt for lying about it. I was like, are these guys going to make out? There's a little bit of chemistry there.
Yeah, and they're about the same height, I noticed.
They are about the same height. Harsh cannot believe Apurva is blind to Purav. I'm like, okay, but Orphe is blind to you, so you both have a Delulu queen in your corner.
Yeah.
Seems to have completely forgotten his conversation with Purav last night where they were going to turn the vote on his side piece. Instead, he's trying to convince Purav to vote Apurva today. Orphe is also trying to convince Jasmine that they should vote for Apurva instead of Harsh. And Jasmine's like, oh, it's really weird she's trying to do that. So she runs off and Jasmine's like, Sudhanshu, I'm pretty sure Orphe is the traitor. Only Sudhanshu at this stage has stayed focused on Harsh. I was like, please God, let our king stay strong. Spoiler alert, our king does not stay strong.
No, he does not.
We get to the mission. So the mission is that night. For those of you watching YouTube, both of Jane and I have our little fluffy black doggies here today,
Oh, yeah.
menacing
Mine
us.
won't get. He keeps getting up here. Sorry, yeah.
We love it. So in this mission, there's 7 chairs for 7 people lined up in front of flaming torches. So you sit on a chair and each person has 3 torches behind them. Everyone's going to be blindfolded, and then Karan Johar is going to tap one person at a time on the shoulder, and they will get up and extinguish the torch of the person they trust the least. Apurva tells us we've got to break up this voting block. As long as Jasmine, Orphe, and Harsh stay, they are going to have the voting majority next round. I'm like, well, actually, it'll be a tie. But I do think we need to take note of that moving forward because obviously they are going to still be here next round. Orphe is never turning on Harsh. Jasmine, even though she kind of thinks it's Orphe, I don't think will ever turn on Orphe. And so even though there's heat on Harsh, it's a worrying look. So anyway, people choose each other, blah, blah, blah. Apurva ends up going out first. So Orphe, Nikita, and Jasmine all choose to extinguish hers. And then Harsh is the second one to go out with Apurva, Purav, oof, and somebody else picking Harsh as well. So after this, they take off their blindfolds and they have to guess who extinguished them. If they're correct, it'll add money to the pot. This is kind of at the start where we start to see Harsh being like, oh, I don't know if I can trust Purav. I think Purav might be coming for me. Again, why, Harsh, aren't you redirecting the heat to Purav? But anyway, it's then revealed there is a dagger up for grabs. Apurva, she was extinguished first, therefore she is the least trusted person left. She gets to choose who she trusts the most to get a dagger. And a very smug, gloating Apurva, oh, you're a bunch of idiots, you've got no idea what's going on, hands the dagger to traitor Purav.
Yeah, oh God, I knew she was going to do that, of course, but yeah, that was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yes. Post-mission, we get this kind of clique of faithful coming together. So we've got Orphe, Sudhanshu, Nikita, and Jasmine. They all kind of agree each other are faithful, except we know that Sudhanshu and Jasmine are a little sus on Orphe. And Orphe's like, look, it's Apurva, and then she's a sure bet. It's definitely Apurva. And then it's either Purav or Harsh, depending on whether or not I'm still here tomorrow. Meanwhile, out in the courtyard, Harsh is literally begging Purav not to banish him with the dagger. And Purav is giving him nothing. He's like, oh, well,
Nothing.
bro, I don't know what I'll do. Because, I don't really want to vote for Apurva. So, bro, I might be voting for you.
Gave him absolutely shaggle on that, nothing. Why? That should have been enough for Harsh to go for him, shouldn't it? There was no way. Oh, yeah, sad.
The kind of a mentee bee. We just get this long montage of him stalking around the house and talking to himself about whether or not he should throw Purav under the bus.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, just shift the damn vote to Orphe. Like, Apurva is just as happy to vote for Orphe as she is for you. Shift the vote to Orphe.
Yeah, he should have done that. I think he was really, because reading into what the little bits we could hear he was saying, it seemed to be his argument as to why Purav would be a traitor. But the easier thing would have been shift the vote to Orphe. You're right, but he couldn't. He was blinded by that. I think he just thought go for Purav in the end. But yeah, Purav just no. He should have done that earlier because it was so clear from before that Purav was never gonna stand side by side with him. He was always going to be happy to throw him under the bus. But yeah, Harsh missed a trick there, big time.
Look, if Harsh makes it through this round table alive, this circle of shark, then he gets his cake and eats it too. He's going into the finale with a free pass to come at Purav, with blindly loyal Orphe on his side, and Purav robbed of his girlfriend Apurva. So if he makes it through, Harsh, he's sitting pretty. But he had the opportunity here to guarantee himself through this.
Yeah, he did. He just didn't see it. And we'll go through the round table, but it was absolute chaos right from the start, wasn't it? Shouting and screaming, and it was just. I kept thinking, is he gonna jump in? Come on, Harsh, come in, jump in, say something. Nothing. He just got embroiled in all the other arguments against him, and just I don't know whether his intention was to say something, but it certainly didn't happen that way. So lots of screaming.
So Apurva has one last shot at explaining to dummy dumb Jasmine that it makes absolutely no sense she's a traitor. She has no one left in the game who trusts her. No numbers. Why would she back herself into the kind of corner where everybody's definitely going to be voting her out? And Jasmine's like, because that's your strategy. She's like, no, that's a dumb strategy.
Yes.
It's a completely fruitless exercise.
Yeah.
And Apurva has had enough. She tells us, I'm ready to go home, and I would like to fly business for having been in the same room as Orphe Javed, a wild animal, to say the least.
Yeah. I love that, yeah. And you're right, Jasmine, that just shows how stupid she is. What Apurva says is absolutely spot on. Why would she have done that? Just it's not. You don't have to be a rocket science to understand that. And I think, yeah, and Apurva then even says, okay, yeah, I'm the traitor. She's just had enough, hasn't she?
Yeah. We get to the circle of shark. Jasmine opens on Apurva. She's like, you are the reason that Janet thought Harsh was a traitor. You programmed her. Apurva's like, no. Harsh and Apurva bicker. She's like, only Janet could have convinced Orphe and Jasmine you are a traitor. She's the only person they listen to. But Jasmine is just giving me major flashbacks to my season. This is a losing battle. And as you say, by the end, Apurva's like, yeah, okay, just whatever. Shut up. Vote me. I'm the traitor. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't blame her. I mean, you can't. She's talked complete sense, but you can't talk sense to a fool, can you? And that's what she was trying to do, and she realised that she's just not going to get anywhere. But yeah, it's just frustrating to watch that somebody can be that blinded and that stupid about the whole game. But yeah, she ends up saying, I think, yeah, I'm the traitor, just do it. Which I thought actually was quite good. I thought, well, they won't vote for her now.
I loved actually back outside when Jasmine's like, well, why am I still in the game, Apurva? And Apurva was like, you know why you're still here. Don't make me say it. Jasmine, you're a fucking idiot.
And yes, yeah.
We get to the votes. So Harsh, Nikita, Sudhanshu, and Jasmine, that's 4 people, vote for Apurva. Apurva votes for Harsh. And Purav, dear Lord, this is so fucking risky. What are you doing? Because at best it's a tie. Purav puts both of his votes on Harsh.
I thought he was going to.
And then we get to a cliffhanger. It's ending with Orphe. Is Orphe going to tie the vote or send Apurva home? And she tells the table, I have been influenced. I don't think it's Apurva anymore. Which is leading the audience to think she's voting for Harsh to cause a revote. But I think, Jane, if that was the case, they would have ended the episode showing it was a tie with the cliffhanger as to what's going next. I think she's voted for Apurva. Apurva is out, and she now thinks that it's harsh. She's just not voted for him.
Maybe we had something a bit like this in the US one, didn't we? Where we had the similar thing at the end. Yeah, I mean, if she says I don't think she's a traitor, she literally says I don't think she is a traitor. So is she either votes for Harsh because she doesn't think she is, or she just says I don't think she's a traitor, but I fucking hate her. She's a bitch, so I'm going to vote for her anyway. So is that what you think will happen? Well, she won't use
I
those
think she's
words.
like, I don't think you're a traitor anymore, but I've got to get rid of you at this point. I'm not voting for my friend.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, bitch, bye.
Yeah,
Did
that
you,
would
so
make.
you think it's going to be a
Yeah.
tie?
Yeah, I'm going for Harsh. I'm going to because I want Harsh to go and not her, obviously. But I can quite easily see the scenario. What you're saying is that we're led to believe that, and knowing that she's a bitch, that she would say that sort of thing and just get rid of her, just because she'd want to have the one up on her. You know, I lasted longer than you, and you're a bitch, and blah blah blah. So, yeah, not sure. I hope Harsh goes, and Harsh. Let's be honest, he's been useless as a traitor, hasn't he? So. Done
Wet
nothing.
blanket. I don't think anyone could be wetter than Purav. And then Harsh comes along. Harsh is wetter than Purav because Harsh blames Purav. Purav, who is a puddle.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And I knew Purav was going to vote Harsh on that as well because I think he wants to keep his trust in Apurva, but also I think he wants to be the last traitor, doesn't he? So he's probably quite happy. You get another one. He's, as far as he knows, there's no suspicion on him. There's all these females left, so one of them's got to be a traitor. So if he's thinking like that, then yeah, get Harsh out, and then he can sail all the way to the end. That's what I'd probably be thinking.
Feel like if Harsh stays in here, Purav low-key is toast because Harsh will rally the votes against Purav. Harsh will still have Orphe, who's super loyal to him, Jasmine, who's super loyal to Orphe, and then like Nikita and Sudhanshu aren't super sold on it being definitely Harsh. Like they'll then maybe Harsh can convince them to go for Orphe. I think like Harsh might not win the game at this point, but I think that Purav is pretty toast if Harsh doesn't go out here. If Harsh does go out here, I like Purav might have a pretty good shot at winning.
I totally agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. If Harsh stays, he's got to step up and take that move, 100%. If he does stay, I think him and Purav will both go at some point. I don't think they'll win it, either of them. But like you say, if he goes, then Purav could win it, definitely. Yeah.
Because I think Orphe's going to turn on Harsh. Like I think Harsh will turn on Purav, and it'll be, you know, they both shoot at each other, right? Like Orphe now no longer trusts Harsh probably, but so she might not end the game with him. But I think Harsh can take a parting gift stab at Purav on the way out.
Yeah, yeah. So who do you think will be the last? Do you think it'll be the last three?
They must have to murder tonight because they will have one last banishment where they won't reveal whether or not they are a traitor. And then it's a final 4 fire of truth. So I think they murder tonight. So if Harsh stays in, which I think he is going to, they are going to have an explosive fight. I think they then should eliminate Sudhanshu or Jasmine because both of those two are the clearest and most trusted left in the game. I think they should murder Sudhanshu because he's obviously much smarter than Jasmine. I mean, my handbag is smarter than Jasmine. So I think they should murder Sudhanshu. I don't know whether or not they will. And I think now Harsh could have the influence to sway votes against Purav. If Harsh goes out here, then I think that Purav can take a swing at obviously whoever he wants. What will be interesting, I think at that point, then Purav has to break up the Jasmine Orphe duo. So I think he probably gets rid of Jasmine and sets up Nikita and Sudhanshu to turn against Orphe.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that version. But I still don't think, if Harsh stays, I don't think him or Purav can win, either of them. If Harsh goes, I think Purav could get to the end with Apurva, and she's got that blind, it's like the Donna Bailey thing, she's got this blind faith in him, and he'll take it all.
Could see an Apurva, Sudhanshu, Purav final 3.
Yeah, Yeah, and unless they do, yeah, unless I mean, it would be great for Apurva and Sudhanshu to win. Sudhanshu doesn't really deserve it, but obviously, I'd love Apurva to win. But yeah, I mean, it's good. What's good is that we've got one more episode and there's so many scenarios that can still happen. So the way that they've left it on that cliffhanger is actually really smart because now we don't know who's gone. There's so many different ways it can go. So it's been good. It's been really good. I really like it. And now I'm kind of, when's the next episode? Thursday? The last episode?
Thursday finale,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
hopefully we get a reunion. That will be
Yeah.
super spicy. I'm
Yeah.
really, really, really looking forward to it. It's been an amazing season. Jane, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at JaneMass444. That's about it, really. And I think people are watching it already, but they're showing my series in England at the moment, UK, on BBC iPlayer. So lots of my friends are watching it, so that's cool. What about you, Annabelle?
New Zealand season 2, if you've not seen it, you've got to see it. It's one of the best seasons. Babes on the Brink. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify and Instagram and Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a rating and a review. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. And if you have friends who watch The Traitors, share our podcast with them. We would really, really appreciate that. You can find me as well on Instagram and Twitter at Annabel CE. Going to wrap up Traitors Quebec with Chili Philly this week, finally. Better late than never, they say. I had a half-hour, 30-minute rant with Sarah Carradine over on Silent Podcasts about the 3 hours of my life I wasted on the first 2 episodes of Stranded on Honeymoon Island. Do not
What?
watch it, team.
Oh my God,
Just listen
Annabelle,
to
you've
me
hit an
rant
all-time
about
low.
it. Oh God, it was absolutely dire, let me tell you.
Oh no.
Anyway, love you all. Thank you. And we will see you next week for the finale of Traitors India. Bye.
Bye. Bye.